Hey, welcome to another edition of BJB Banner Today. I'm joined today by Mike Rochon. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Not too bad, Tim. How are you today?
Very good. Still out here in the great Northwest, out in the ocean on a place called San Juan Island, a city supposedly, or town, I should say, of Friday Harbor. I think there's about 8,000 people on this island to give you an idea, but they actually have people. The first thing I thought was, well, what about a high school? They do have a high school. It's one of the best high schools in the state as far as education goes. And then it's like, well,
Awesome.
how do they play sports? But they have like a full sports complex. I saw it. And I guess they get on boats and drive to other islands and go to the mainland and play a bunch of schools there. So
Very
is
cool.
life in this part of the world.
Yeah. It's just hot
Thanks.
and humid here. So,
Yeah,
as
no,
usual.
it actually has been unbelievable weather. Like we brought like this fleece I got on and heavy clothing like that because we knew it'd be cool. It's been so warm here. It was like mid 80s yesterday, not a
Wow.
cloud in the sky, not much of a breeze. I actually got dehydrated yesterday because on the boat for a while and I didn't drink enough water and yeah, but today there was a change. Cool breeze. It's cool.
Okay.
You need like a light jacket and stuff
All
to
right.
walk around.
Good. Good.
Yeah, a little more common weather. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Hit that subscribe and like button. Just want to shout out a couple things. Number one, this is episode number 9 we're taping. So far, we've got 8 in the books, and yeah, we've had almost 1,000 followers, 1,000 views, I should say. So that's fantastic. Better than we expected. So thank you so much for that. We're going to keep growing this. As I said, production value is going to grow too when we get more steady producers and so forth. And really appreciate everything you're doing for us. And we're going to keep pumping this product out because people seem to like it. Number two, I want to shout out. I get that we have viewers from outside Omaha and outside the Midwest because they want to keep up with Creighton, information. But I want to give a shout out to people in the Midwest. We hear about Minnesota nice. I've heard Midwest nice. Give yourselves a hand because you guys are nice. Like, we're in a tourist area. We have ran in 4 occasions the biggest jerks in the world. Like, unbelievable. Like, the people that run the Washington State Ferry, like, this lady was horrible. Like, I asked a simple question, and she goes, I don't know what you're asking. Pretty simple question. What time does the ferry leave? What time does it get back? I don't know how
Those
I
are
could make it
those are
more
difficult questions, Tim. Come on
simple than
now.
that. You work for the company. I don't. And thankfully, the other day, you know, my thoughts were confirmed by an older gentleman who's lived here his whole life. He's like, yeah, how would you know? I mean, it's so damn confusing what they put out. Like you can't. I go, yeah. And he goes, yeah, they could make it much simpler, but they don't. It's like, but anyway, shout out to everybody in the Midwest for being nice. Like my wife has said that too. She goes, if I ask somebody a question, somebody came up to me in Omaha and asked me a question, I give an answer. Like these people are just like, this one guy walks past and goes, I can't, two of you are talking at the same time. I can't help you. And he just keeps going. Wow. Okay, dude. Oh, God. It's been crazy. There's been some real nice people too. But anyway, on to better things and a real good things at Fusion Brewing Company right here in Omaha. Check them out. Go to infusionbrewing.com. Check out all the great beers they have to offer at the tap room. Hopefully later you'll see a link on the screen, which you can just click on and go to their website and see everything that they have. And they're already brewing the pumpkin fall beers already. So give you a chance to get down there on one of these nice weekends and go down and check out everything they have to offer at Infusion Brewing Company. All right. Today, a week ago, on Thursday, Mike and I talked about the players that came back, and then on Friday we talked about the new players. So if you missed any of those episodes, go back. You can see them right here where you picked up on this one. But today we're kind of going to piggyback on what we did last Thursday, and that is talk about the players coming back. And we went through the whole list. But today I thought it'd be fun if we like looked at, all right, we've got five guys that had playing time last year. Ty Davis, Jason Green, Jackson McAndrews, Fedor Zukic, and Isaac Trout. Which of those guys do you think is going to bring take? Are you expecting to take the biggest leap? And I'll start out with you, Mike. Which of those five do you think would is going to take the biggest leap this year?
Ah, that's a good question. I kind of lean towards Tice. I think that I just expect big things from him. Um, you know, I think he's gonna come in very confident this year. I think that, kind of what we talk about with those first year players, and you kind of mentioned it with like Nick Graves and people penciling him to the point guard position, and you talked about kind of that like half second or whatever that you wait and you think about it a little too much. I think that was maybe Ty Davis's thing last year. When he'd come in the game, he'd think about it a little too much, and it would pass him by. And you kind of saw towards the end of the year, maybe he didn't quite have that anymore and got a little bit more comfortable. And now I kind of expect him just take over and take that next step and not think, and we always talk about how thinking sometimes gets you in trouble. So I think Ty Davis is going to make a massive, massive leap this year.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one. He seems much more confident, seems much more ready, seems much more like a guy that I wouldn't be too scared of to get into the game. I think a lot of people are looking for that. I think a lot of people, like we talked about last week when we went through the roster, a lot of people were just kind of expecting Nick Graves to be penciled in at point guard, and then that's just not the case right now. I mean, I think there's a real battle there. But again, getting back to like not to talk to guys that are just first year players, but you know, Josh Dix has got to be on the floor. So we only have so many spots.
Right.
So I think the question kind of is Josh Dix going to be a point? If that's the case, or if you want Fedora on the floor and you think Fedora is going to be on the floor, then Josh Dix will probably be at the point. Fedora will be at the two because you've got the three and four kind of wrapped up with Jason Green and Jackson McAndrews. So as long as we have a viable player who can play center, we're hoping Josh Freeman's ready to go at the beginning of the year, and that's kind of the if right now. So yeah, I would say that. I think the big thing with Fedor, I think people are maybe don't necessarily want to see him take a big leap, but just be a little better. And I know in these early practices, they've really been hammering him on defense. Like Mac's been all over him on defense. Hey, stop in action. They want him. They're really heavily focused having him on defense, which means that um, they expect, you know, they want him to be that guy. And if he's going to be that
Right.
guy, he has to, he's got to play defense. So um, that's kind of where they are there. So I guess that's kind of what there's a lot of questions still to be answered, but unfortunately, it's only the middle of August. So we got a long time to go here until
Right.
those questions have to be answered. I
Yeah.
guess the other guy to take the jump to me would be Jackson. And uh, the jump Ty's taking is going to be greater just by osmosis than what Jackson is because Jackson played so much last year, right? And he's a starter. He was comfortable. He just got better. But everybody wants to see him take that next leap as far as defense, as far as rebounding, as far as being more athletic and being tall and showing the height that he has. So I guess that would be the other guy I would look to say, hey, yeah, I'd like to see a big leap out of him defensively and just more of a presence on the board and just overall around. And this isn't to shade Jason at all, but I don't. I mean, I don't. for Jason to be really super effective this coming season, I don't see that big of a jump, right? It's just more playing time, more comfortability out there, more being able to show that he can guard that three position, maybe in the two position and so forth. And kind of the same way with Isaac, I guess, too. Just keep doing what you're doing. Only improve it a little bit. And probably with Isaac, probably a little more physical down low because there'll be times where he'll switch on a big guy down low. The other guy, obviously, we're talking about is Fedor, and we just mentioned him, but I would say Fedor, from a body perspective, looks a little bigger and stronger this year. And then on top of that, I just what I've seen on the offensive end is he looks way more comfortable.
Yeah, and I mean, all those things are great. I think, kind of the one thing with Ty kind of going back to him is that like competition aspect of it all. Like you said, we got Josh Dix, we got Nick Graves. All these guys are going to be battling for that position. So like Ty's have not going to be able to have that complacency like, hey, I know this, I'm coming back, this is like he's gonna have to make that leap, if he's gonna. You look at Jackson, I don't think just the way he plays and how talented he is, I don't think you're going to see complacency, but like, you're not going to see some guy, another guy pushing him quite as much for playing time where like Ty, it's going to be a battle to see who gets those position or who gets those playing time. And, that's the same with Fedor. So like, it's going to be kind of that for those guys that kick in the butt, like, hey, you're going to need to show us or else, these guys are going to come in and take this time from you, or are you going to take the time and are you going to show that you need to be out on the floor?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think two guys that were a walk on, quote unquote, walk ons last year, Shane and Josh. I mean, I think everybody'd like to see them take a step too. But again, it's starting to get crowded because we've recruited so heavily and got so much depth this year. But again, Mac trusts guys, and I think you'll see a lot of that substitution at the end of halves, and maybe certain spots with Shane because Shane is a pretty good defender.
Right.
And if somebody gets a couple of fouls, they'll pull them out, put Shane in for a couple of possessions to play defense and so forth. But um, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think go ahead.
I think defense, what you mentioned with defense is going to be massive because, late in the game, McDermott's going to play those guys that he trusts to be in the right spot defensively because now you can't get bailed out with Kalkbrenner.
Yeah,
Sitting back there to bail out your defensive issues. So, if these guys aren't going to be in the right positions, they're not going to play defense. You're not going to rebound. McDermott's he's not going to play you, and you're not going to have Kalkbrenner back there to bail you out. So, that's another thing we talked about with like
right.
Austin Schwartz and guys like that. Like, do we have somebody that's going to be that defensive stopper? And if so, are they now stealing minutes late in the game? So,
And I think from the new guys, it's always we've seen this for years and years and years. Either transfers or freshmen. What's the first thing they want to do? They want to show what they can do offensively, right? To impress everybody. But really,
yep,
if you want playing time, it's on the other end of the floor.
right.
That's where you're gonna get the playing time. It may not look pretty, it may not look exciting to fans, but that's where you're gonna get the playing time. So that's kind of the deal there. Um, yeah, but I should mention go to bluejaybanner.com, the On3 network. We've gotten a ton of response since we've done these podcasts and talked about it. So make sure and go there, sign up today. You can get for 1 week to test it out. You can pay $1, see the whole thing for 1 week. You can get Mike's wonderful takes on our message board. And um, everyone else's for that matter. So go on there, sign up today. You're going to get a lot of inside information. We just posted some last week. There could be some more fluctuation with the roster, so check out the information we gave you. And then when we get back in school, we get some more practices, so forth. You'll get up to date practice reports on there. So go to That's bluejaybanner.com. Check it out today. Yeah, I think Ty again. We kind of like I said, a lot of people penciled Nick in, and then there was like, geez, I think Ty's going to get it. But then, yeah, when you start thinking about roster construction, I think all of us would probably want to see Fedora out there because of the things he can do offensively and get the ball to the rack.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we talked about, we've seen or heard the development in Ty's shot, but like, you still don't know what you have with from the offensive standpoint from Ty Davis. We don't know. I feel like there's some confidence there, but like, Fedor, you just kind of know what he has offensively. You've seen the little glimpses and the wow factor, and you talked about how he's, a knockdown shooter right now. And it's just, I mean, what Fedor brings offensively it feels like it's going to be very difficult to keep off the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. And now he's gotten a little bit of experience. So, I mean, even in practice, you see him, he knows a little bit more of where he's got to be, what we got to do in the offensive set, where he's got to be on defense. He understands the communication part, probably doesn't do it all the time, but understands it better.
Right.
And I think that's where he's probably a little bit ahead of, say, Austin Swartz or Nick Graves, with the communication factor and what Mac wants and Coach DK coaching the defense as well. So, but it'll be great to see. By the way, so this is Thursday because I'm going to be traveling tomorrow to points unknown. So we won't have a show tomorrow. But we want to thank you for watching this week. Next week, we'll kick it off with more content. We'll get you caught up on what happened over the weekend. Volleyball has the exhibition game. So does soccer. So we'll kind of get you caught up there. I do want to mention Jacob Kuttner, we talked about him playing in the U.S. Amateur. He did not make the cut. He went 80, 84, probably didn't play his best golf, especially on the front nines of both qualifying 18s. So, but it's still really an honor and a great accomplishment to get into the first round of the U.S. Amateurs. So, congratulations to him and better things ahead for him as a Creighton golfer going forward.
How about Isaac Collins from the for the Brewers? He's having one heck of a season. So shout out to the Creighton baseball program there.
Yeah. Wow. So Creighton has three guys. Well, I don't know. Is Will Robertson still with the Blue Jays? I'm not sure. I'd have to check on that. I've
Not
been wondering that one.
100% sure on that.
But well, if he isn't, they still have three guys in the major leagues, two of which are products of the Twins getting rid of everybody and they need players.
Right.
But Ryan
Right.
Fitzgerald the other day, first major league hit, a home run.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And Al Rod's been getting some play with the Twins. He hasn't really broke out. He's had a home run. He's had a couple extra base hits, but he's still if you add in the at bats he had with Toronto, he's still like right around 200. But I was texting with Ed the other day actually when the Twins game was on and talked to him, and he said, "Yeah, I really hope the Twins give Al, and he should get a lot of run with the Twins through August, September." He goes, "This is a huge 2 months for him, not only for this year, but for years to come to see what he can do. If the Twins give him the opportunity uh, to, get the at bats he needs to show what he can do. I mean, he's hit a lot of hard hit balls. And the other thing, Ed goes, as we're discussing Al Roden and Ryan Fitzgerald, Ed goes, now I think we're still here. Mike, you still there?
Yep.
All right,
I'm
good.
back
Yeah.
in.
Sorry, I'm out here in the no man's land. We probably got a problem there. But anyway, Ed, if you missed that, Ed just said, hey, now if we could just get Isaac Collins going, and he was joking. It's like, could be the rookie of the year. So,
Yeah,
all right.
right.
Um, I apologize if for all the or visual audio and video problems, but thanks so much. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend.